What is going down? Good to see you guys again. I just didn't see you guys too long ago. Was on a live earlier with Jordan Elliott. Figured there's a lot of stuff going down, so I would actually make it back-to-back lives. Also, too, with this particular live, want to ensure if you guys have any questions, comments, points, anything, this is a show for you. Because we pretty much come on, we do daily lives and things like that, and it's pretty structured. And sometimes we kind of plow through. But today, I'm looking at you guys. We're gonna talk about it all, but I want to get your guys' feedback. I want to hear from the SDS. Any comments, questions, anything you guys got, we'll get into it. We appreciate everyone vibing already. If you haven't, smash that like button and let's talk some 49ers football. Because just as Cody, the Mamba Cox, has talked about, the 49ers have signed 5 players today. The free agent dominoes are falling, and I love to see it because I really do like some of these players that the 49ers have brought back. Let me get my screen shared and let's get it rocking again. If you guys do have any questions, comments, get them in the chat and we will pull them up. You guys can potentially run the show today. But let's talk about some of the players a little bit more in depth. Again, we had Jordan on. Jordan gave us his feedback. And let's take a look at some of these guys. And I want to get a little bit more in depth with how you guys feel about these positions. And we're going to look at these positions that have been filled today and then start to transition to putting our GM caps on and trying to see how we can build out this roster, add more depth, add some potential starters, who we're going to draft, who we're going to target, who's getting traded, all that kind of stuff. But again, today, the 49ers have signed the following players. It did come out reportedly first from 49ers Focus on Instagram that there was some wording kind of that got mixed up, but originally the core players got tendered and it had those players it wasn't official that they had signed the tenders yet. So I guess how it works out is the team can tender the player, then they move towards a situation where they can still add an additional contract, extend the contract. It gives them a little bit more time to be able to work out a deal. That's why I don't think we see a Jawan Jennings on this list. We don't see a Jawan Jennings on this list because although he likely was tendered at a certain round, original rounds, potentially, I would imagine they're going to tender him at a second round level, potentially third round level. Um, he's not on this list. And I would imagine the reason why he's not on this list is because they are going to get him a little bit better of a deal. Um, and get him moving in the right direction with said deal. Um, from this list today, we saw defensive lineman Kevin Givens, who has been a phenomenal 49er ever since he showed up as an undrafted free agent out of Penn State. Running back JaMycal Hasty, he had an up and down year, but we have seen Hasty come in and fill some spots and roles when we've needed him to. Defensive lineman Maurice Hurst comes back on a 1 year. I'm I could be one of the most quietly excited people about the Maurice Hurst return. We didn't get to see Maurice in all his glory last year. He was hurt a lot, and I think by the time he was ready to come back, there was already a solidified defensive rotation, and it was just made it a little bit harder for him to find a role. However, I am excited for Mo Hurst, especially with the potential that DJ Jones is going to be taking off in free agency. And I imagine DJ Jones is going to get the bag. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the chat. Do you think DJ Jones is going to be able to come back to the San Francisco 49ers, or is DJ getting the bag from someone? Because I think it's pretty crystal clear whether he back or not. DJ did prove his worth last year, as he's proven for some time, but he came out balling last year. So we got Justin saying DJ gets the bag. So again, to get a guy like Kevin Givens back, who's been an impact player, impact rotational player on the defensive line, is huge. Then you get a guy like Maurice Hurst, who can come in and step in and fill that void that was potentially left by DJ Jones. Now, it might not be the same exact role, but Maurice Hurst offers that ability again. I raved about Maurice Hurst all throughout training camp. Unfortunately, got hurt in preseason, and we didn't really see much of him since then. But I am interested to see how he develops this year. Michael says DJ Jones will get the bag from someone. We can't afford both Jones and Tomlinson. Man, we also had another move that could have an impact, if Laken Tomlinson gets the bag from somewhere else, because it also feels like Laken could get the bag and the 49ers may be left at the altar. I don't know. I've been following Laken, man. I've always followed Laken. Laken's one of my favorite guys on the team. Again, I have a soft spot in my heart for offensive linemen, and Laken has he's been posting a lot of things about money. I'm just saying, man, like, you get a lot of people on here talking about athletes, social media posting and all that kind of stuff. I've been tracking these guys' social media for like 3 years straight. So I have a pretty good tendency for how these guys post. Lakin is posting like he typically doesn't post. So Lakin, a lot of lyrics about money. The most recent thing that Lakin posted, the very last, line in the song in which he posted said, "Just making sure I got to take care of my family." So I don't know if that's an indication that he got the bag or he's gonna get the bag from somewhere else. Lakin's been talking a lot about money, and he doesn't like sub posting about money, and he doesn't do that. So again, he's up for a contract. It is going to be interesting to see if he comes back. If he doesn't, we're going to find out. Gabe says 2 lives in one day. Hit that like button, everyone. Absolutely. Smash that like button. We're coming to 2 lives. It feels like we could even be doing 3 lives with about how much stuff is coming out about the San Francisco 49ers, but we're going to keep it rocking again. Ask your questions in the chat. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, we will bring them up and we'll talk about them. Right now, we're trying to get through the list of who was signed. On top of that, the 3 that I've named, Givens, Hasty, Hurst, the 49ers signed Colton McKivitz. That's a big signing. We understand his impact to the team and what that looked like when we needed him week 18 in a must-win game against Von Miller, against Leonard Floyd coming off the edge with the Rams. Colton McKivitz is not a tackle, ladies and gentlemen. Colton McKivitz is not a tackle. He, in my opinion, is an interior offensive lineman, at least at the NFL level, and he got the job done. And so, again, Lakin potentially moves on. Colton McKivitz becomes a very valuable depth piece, if not a guy to become a starter. So I like that. And you get Colton McKivitz back on a nice deal. Also, quarterback Nate Sudfeld is officially under contract. They signed him to a reserve future deal, and the 49ers get the Sudfeld back. he's not that bad as everyone makes him seem, but he's all right. But again, not going to make any sweeping assumptions or judgments based on Nate Sudfeld. Um, this one I think is worth talking about. And I would actually like to know what you guys think about this since we are talking about quarterback. As we saw today, 49ers legend Colin Kaepernick posted a video of him working out, saying he's still working, which what would that indicate? That he is still open to signing with an NFL team. Uh, what do you guys think about that? To me, that looks like a comeback. And again, we've been watching the process of Colin Kaepernick for quite some time. As you know, Colin Kaepernick was a Niner, so he is. We are very familiar. We we are very familiar with Colin in this area, and I would say it looks like he wants to come back. Someone could give him the opportunity, maybe. Uh, we'll see. We've heard people talk about, hey, bring him in, be the backup to Lance. Um, what would be interesting is, what Colin is thinking at this point. I mean, Colin Kaepernick would be an upgrade. Uh, Ella says, Brad, do you think Colin Kaepernick would be an upgrade to downgrade from Nate? Essentially, I believe what you're saying is he an upgrade over what we currently have? You would have to think based on Ross' skill set alone, Cap was a different breed. He was the new era of quarterback before the league was ready for it. But you also have to remember Kaepernick was on the roster when Kyle Shanahan took over, and Kyle had to release him. So now, again, I think the Kaepernick conversation is a lot more. Um, it's a lot more than just the on-field talent. It's always been a lot more than just the on-field. Again, we're talking about try to reference tie it into what Jimmy Garoppolo is going through right now. Again, we had Joe Staley, 49ers legend, go on to KMBR yesterday and allude to that he thinks the timing of the Garoppolo trade is a little bit of gamesmanship in regards to the business side of things. And it's funny because when Joe Staley says it in that kind of light, now he's not saying it is. He's just observing, being observant about the timing in which Jimmy got his shoulder surgery, happened to be right when everyone's getting traded. And it kind of puts a little bit of a halt on the Jimmy trade just because teams have to do extra due diligence to ensure one, the it was a successful surgery, and two, it's progressing as they anticipate. When I think of that and I hear that, I think of Colin Kaepernick. I think of Colin. You go back, I think it was what, 2016. Remember those surgeries he had in the offseason, the unadvised. I think he had a shoulder surgery. I think he had a wrist surgery. I think he had a knee surgery. I think he had like 3 total cleanups in the offseason, late into the offseason. And what were one of the things that was discussed? Well, there's a specific date that a player needs to be able to pass physical by. And And if said player doesn't pass or can't pass said physical, the injury clause kicks in and the contract becomes guaranteed. Well, with Kaepernick, wasn't able to pass the physical, $14 million contract became guaranteed in the midst of the 49ers trying to trade Colin Kaepernick. And so understanding that side of it, I just think the 49ers Kaepernick situation, there's too much stuff that business side of things. Again, we're not even talking about like any of his activists. We're not even talking about that. That hasn't even happened up until this point of the story. I just think there's a lot of back end stuff that was going on that probably doesn't happen. So does he come back? Does he sign somewhere else? I wouldn't mind seeing Cap in the league, man. I really wouldn't. Kaepernick was I tell this story all the time, uh especially if you're talking about a situation um with the draft being here. We're talking about draft crushes, we're talking about all that. My draft origin story starts with Colin Kaepernick. Like Colin Kaepernick was my first ever draft crush. First ever. Like I decided, you know what, I like to evaluate football. I like to evaluate draft prospects. Okay. In the first year that I decided to hop in, Colin Kaepernick, I identified out of Nevada, coming from the pistol, passing for 10,000 yards, rushing for over 4,000 yards. Colin Kaepernick was my guy coming out of Nevada. And then when the 49ers selected him in the second round, I still I still credit that situation to why I still do what I do today, because it was electric. That feeling of being like, you know what? I'm going to look at prospects. I'm going to see which prospects I like that I hope my team drafts. And they took Colin. Oh my goodness. Electric. That's why I'm saying if you guys are out here scouting prospects, get a little emotional with it. Find the guys that you like. Find your diamonds. Find your gems. Find your draft crushes. Prop them up. Talk about them. Hype them up. Because if your team drafts more guys, that feeling of like, hey, I identified an X player as a fit for the 49ers and those son of a guns actually took them, it makes you feel pretty good. And so that feeling of Cap being my first crush and the 49ers taking him in the second round, oh my God, through the moon. And I was Kaepernick's biggest fan all the way through. But again, there's a lot of stuff that happened off the field um, before anything even regards to the activism stuff, kind of stuff. I imagine I would love to see him back. I would love to see people stop arguing about Kaepernick. I would love to see people start arguing about like the play of Kaepernick. I want to see that guy go out on the field and get something done. I would love to see that. But I don't think the opportunity falls with the 49ers. I know a lot of people would really like to see that. But I just again, for a lot of other situations going down, um, I do see him not coming back to the 49ers. Again, Kaepernick's right here. You can see him a little bit. I got Cap right here in my backdrop. But hey, wish him nothing but the best, man. I hope he lands somewhere. He deserves to play. I he was God. He was Greg Roman. See, I'm gonna start getting all my PTSD coming back up, man. You're gonna get me all hyped up about like why I still can't stand Greg Roman, Trent Baalke. Oh my gosh, they ruined Cap, in my opinion. But hey, that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. All right, let's see what other questions, comments you guys got in here. Like I said, you guys have an ability to kind of to drive the show a little bit. So if you guys have any comments, questions, anything, feel free to drop it into the chat. Trubisky, I I'm excited for Trubisky, man. I think wherever Trubisky goes, if he lands in a good spot, I think he could bounce back. I do. It feels like what was going on there in Chicago was a little bit toxic. I think if he lands in a good spot, I think he could actually do pretty well. Harris says, like it up, y'all. Let's get as many likes as we can get. I like that energy. I like that energy. Dylan's saying, I actually have a poster of Kaepernick with Willis and Crabtree right behind him as he's speaking. Um, I love this, dude. This is hilarious to me because I like Solomon Thomas too. Dude, I like Solomon Thomas a lot. Because you go back to what Solomon Thomas did at Stanford, specifically out of the 3 tech, not edge, not wide 9, the 3 tech on the interior. Dude wrecked shop. Oh, Solomon Thomas had a bit of a bounce back this year with the Raiders. I wonder why. It's probably because they played him at his natural position of defensive tackle on the interior. Again, it was just that whole situation. Don't blame Solomon. Don't blame Solomon for that. Don't blame Solomon. Anyone. Blame Kyle. Blame John. Deshaun Watson was sitting right there. Patrick Mahomes was sitting right there. Don't blame Solomon. He didn't draft himself. He didn't do that. Cody says, I want to talk about Kobe Bryant to the San Francisco 49ers for a cornerback. I think that's absolutely viable. I think the 49ers could target Kobe Bryant, especially because he is trending towards being a mid-round prospect. So Kobe Bryant coming out of Cincinnati, obviously playing opposite side of Sauce Gardner. They also had a safety that I really like in Cook. I would like Cook to be on if like the 49ers had an opportunity to grab Cook from the safety position with Cincinnati. I would like that as well. But Kobe Bryant, I keep wanting to call him James Cook, but that is not his name. That is the running back for Georgia. It's the other Cook, the safety for Cincinnati. Those two guys, I think, in the mid round would be extremely viable options for the San Francisco 49ers. Jay Tran says, now thinking about it, if the Commanders would have got Kaepernick, it would have been ironic. It would have. It absolutely would. It would have. No Tacos says, I met Cap when I was a Bank of America teller. He was super laid back. I think Cap was a chill dude, man. It just got crazy there at the end. With that, how that situation played out. Oh, speaking of cornerbacks, Jeff Gladney. Former TCU cornerback, first round draft pick from the Minnesota Vikings, who was released because he got into some trouble with some reported, I believe it was like a domestic abuse, felony assault. I believe on a female was the original claim. And so the Vikings straight up dropped him. And I would imagine it was pretty serious. But today he was cleared and he was proven to be not guilty. So if the 49ers and again, if everything checks out, number one, everything has to check out. He's got to be clear. Again, it's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, right? So it's a little bit different now. It's kind of like guilty until proven innocent because I guarantee you, myself included, would have assumed that he was guilty as hell, considering the Minnesota Vikings didn't waste 2 seconds keeping him around. But he was seen as not guilty. Again, my favorite cornerback from his draft class. That was the draft class with CJ Henderson, I believe, as well. A guy that I was not high on at all. I know a lot of people were. A lot of people like CJ Henderson quite a bit. Not this guy. And so far, he hasn't turned out. So I feel a little bit justified in that. But also in the same sentence, the guy that I really liked and Gladney got his ass booted for some knucklehead off the field stuff. But like I said, it feels like it is becoming a situation where it's not that big of a deal. If the 49ers have an opportunity to grab a first round talent off the streets, please, I would again, if everything checks out, if everything checks out. Someone had mentioned, Nathan had mentioned, where'd I get this hat? This is that new drop. This is brand new drop from Residency right here. You go to residency.com. I got a promo code, get you a little discount on your offer or on your so if you want the hats are fire. I got residency hats everywhere. You can see I got another residency hat right here. Tons of other ones right behind me. If you want to grab a hat, there you go. Hit the link, use the promo code, get yourself a treat. Treat yourself because these hats are fire. This one's new. It's like the mission, which is normally red and white, but the white and the black, man, it pops. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. Also, do me a favor, smash that like button, smash it, punch it, Debo it, whatever you need to do. Whatever you need to do. All right. I want to make sure I'm trying to get all your guys' questions. I do get a little bit behind sometimes, but I do want to make sure that I'm making sure I'm getting through all your guys' comments and questions. Dylan says, "You think we let go of Aziz?" I'm assuming that's who that is, or Dre. I hope we don't let go of any of them, to be perfectly honest with you. Again, Dre's under contract. Aziz Al Shair is a restricted free agent. So technically, both are under team control. Um, the question or the answer to that is I don't think they let either of them go. It's does one of them potentially get traded? Does someone try to throw the bag at Aziz? And the 49ers opt not to match that. Um, and so I would imagine that both of them are here to stay. But if anyone were to get moved, feels like Dre. I don't know. Feels like Dre. I Aziz played so well last year. Aziz played so well last year. I don't want him to go anywhere. Don't want him to go anywhere. Who do you think the 49ers will get as a free agent? Will it be a big name? So we had heard from the combine, through a little bit of ear hustling, that the 49ers are absolutely going to be engaged in the cornerback market in free agency. And what that looks like is, we heard some names and uh Casey Hayward was a name that we heard floated. Shout out Splash Cousin, Jordan Elliott for that nugget. Um, we heard that as a potential target um, for veteran cornerback. So it sounds like the 49ers are going to be interested in cornerback, but it sounds like they're after a veteran and a mid-tier veteran. Now, it was announced that the 49ers could be interested in JC Jackson or would have significant interest in JC Jackson. And I don't doubt that. But also, what we have heard from the combine is that they will be interested in a mid tier cornerback. And Casey Hayward is a name that's been brought up. Well, I got some information today that DJ Reed, former 49ers cornerback, who they let go, which I am assuming they are still kicking themselves over. They have been talking and they are open to a potential reunion. And I've got it from two of the most lock tight sources you can imagine. It's not just one, it's two, and it's like literally can't get any time. You can't get any more official than those two sources that I have, and both of them are saying the same thing. Both of them are saying the same thing. But the open for a potential reunion is there, but as we know, right. Where have we heard that before? Arden Key said that just not too long ago on his live. So there is mutual interest, not only from the 49ers to get DJ Reed, but from DJ Reed to come back to the 49ers. So there is a potential path for that to occur. And I like that because they know the guy. They know him well. They played against his ass, excuse my language, and they realize, wow, DJ's gotten a lot better than when we thought we could sneak him back onto the practice squad or something like that when they let him. So DJ Reed, again, this was a guy that I indicated early on in this process as the mid-tier guy that I would like, or the kind of archetype mid-tier veteran cornerback that I would like them to go after. Um, and we've confirmed there's not only interest for DJ Reed, but it's DJ Reed wanting to come back to the 49ers. So it feels too good not to make that happen. Again, he's a former 49er. They made a mistake. He went to a rival and balled the hell out. Bring our boy back home, put him back in red and gold, get the deal done, and let's go. I would love to see DJ Reed, man. I would love to see DJ Reed back. Justin says, "Did you see the report that said teams were calling about Dre Greenlaw?" I actually did not see that report. I've heard some things, but I feel like there's always kind of some of that floating around Dre Greenlaw. Um, but I have not heard the report that teams are calling about him. Um, would be very interesting too, especially with the reports that Bobby Wagner could be potentially uh tied to the 49ers, and based on the teams that are interested in Bobby Wagner, it's all NFC West teams. So what could be interesting to see is, does Bobby Wagner want to play in division so he can go back and whoop on Seattle twice a year? Kind of feels like he does. Joey says, Brad, are the San Francisco 49ers the franchise in history of NFL? He answered it for me. Yes. Easy question. Easy. This happened. Sources, the Bears are closing in on a trade for star pass rusher Khalil Mack, sending him to the Los Angeles Chargers for prime draft pick compensation. That draft pick compensation was cheap. It was a second round draft pick and a third round, I believe, in the following year. That is not that much for an elite. Again, part of it is a movement of the contract off the books. Khalil Max makes a lot of money. It makes it harder to get a lot of stuff done with other players. So we see that happen all the time. Sometimes really good players will get moved because their contract is just it's killing teams from being able to make any other moves. So Chargers took the entire contract. They gave up decent draft capital. But for Khalil Mack, and again, 49ers play the AFC West this year. So the Russ is going to Denver. Now we got Khalil Mack headed to the Chargers. I mean, what a year to have to play the AFC West, man. What a year. Um, Oh, we got Jeff Gladney's older brother is my boy. Let's go. Tell him to come to the Niners. Say, come through. Oh yeah, we double dipping today, Cap. I figured we had Splash on for a little bit. Wanted to get his thoughts on, but there's so much stuff popping off today. Wanted to come back, see what else you guys wanted to see what you guys wanted to talk about. Again, I'm a little behind in the chat. I'm gonna keep try to. I want to hit all your guys' questions. So if you guys do have questions, hit it in the chat. Drop them in the chat. I'm gonna try to get a hold of them. I have to warn you though. I have to warn you. The kids are playing Fortnite. The kids are playing Fortnite. Daddy needed some stream time. So I said, you guys could play. You guys could play for a little bit till my stream starts going crazy. But so just if you start seeing some weird Wi-Fi stuff going down, playing for it's them. It's their fault. Just gonna blame it on them every time. Do I see us going after Wagner? I think it would be a great story. I would love to see Wagner on the team, more so just to piss off Seattle fans than anything else. Do I see him? Not necessarily, but if if these rumors of potentially Greenlaw getting traded, if you're down a linebacker and B Wag says, "Hey, I'll fill that role," yes, you will, and we will gladly welcome you on over. 100%. Dustin says, "Where is Jimmy going?" Uh, I'm gonna. I still feel like the Colts are that spot, man. I still feel like the Colts are that spot. It's just how it feels. But who knows? It can happen. And a lot of Raiders stuff popped up out of nowhere today on the timeline. Lots of people talking about Derek Carr getting traded today. Went from zero, went to basically me. For if you guys know and you've been following me, I've been saying for a month that I think Derek Carr could get traded. And I've felt that since the beginning. And I even started putting that out yesterday. But today, oh, you go on the timeline. It's like, oh, Derek Carr, this Raiders. I was like, oh, okay. So I still feel for the Colts, but we've seen crazier things happen. If Derek Carr becomes available, maybe the Colts want Derek Carr. I'm going to go ahead and say I think the Colts would want Jimmy Garoppolo over Derek Carr. I think when it comes to I think Derek Carr is a good leader, but I think the type of leader that Jimmy Garoppolo has proven to be, and based on all the information that we've heard coming out of that situation with Carson Wentz, they need a guy that is going to galvanize the locker room. Jimmy's that guy. And he might not be the spiciest on the shelf, but I'm just saying, man, there's a demeanor there that clearly players respond to, and that's half the battle, man. That's half the battle. Just think of it like if you were a manager. Just think of you were a manager and you really want to get your employees, the guys that you're managing under you, to do something. It's a lot easier to get your employees, and they're there to work too, and they're there to get paid. But also, when you have a relationship that is like a mutual respect between like a manager role, when someone says jump, and you know how it is. It's a completely different vibe that comes along with someone and something that people respect. And I think that's what Jimmy is. Like people just respect everything about him. They respect the person. And if they need to go into war with Jimmy, they feel comfortable doing it. It might not be the outcome that you want at the end, but he is a guy that clearly players have proven they will absolutely go to war for. Absolutely go to war for. Oh gosh, I'm just seeing this now. Yeah, same way we lost Caden Smith, man. Caden Smith would be tight end 2 right now. Caden Smith would be tight end 2 right now for the San Francisco 49ers if they did not release him and think they could get him back around on the practice squad. This happens all the time with these guys. This happens all the time. They try to get little cute, and they try to sneak guys, like onto the practice squad. But we're desirable, man. So one of our players hits the open market, they swoop him fast. Caden's still in New York, um, with Giants, and he's had a decent career, obviously in a bad offense, and he's also playing behind Evan Ingram as well. Let's see. Jaden says, "Are we going to be bringing back K'Wan Williams? Feel like he's essential to our defense. Haven't heard much regarding him. I don't think we bring him back. I wouldn't mind him coming back, but I don't think he's going to be coming back. I think the 49ers are looking to upgrade that position and or get younger at that position. Again, DJ Reed is someone that we talked about. He can be a primary slot. He can play slot, but what DJ has also proven is that he can play outside corner. So who knows? The reason why I think DJ Reed is so specifically appealing is because think about the matchup that the 49ers have with the Rams. Okay? Go back and think back to Cooper Cup cooking us out the slot. Whether we tried to put K1 on him, we tried to put, uh, Jimmy Ward on him. We got cooked out the slot by Cooper Cup. And if you can get a guy like Reed who can be like your starter on an outside corner in base downs, and then when they shift to nickel package, depending on where they put their number one wide receiver, you could theoretically take Reed, drop him down into the slot, stick Ambry on the outside, and all of a sudden you got Emmanuel and Ambry on the outside, manning those guys. And then you got DJ Reed in the middle, in the slot. That to me feels very effective for not only what the 49ers currently have, but where we saw some of the weaknesses last year with the defense and specifically the slot. Now, K1, when it comes to him being a box player, getting his nose dirty, um, making very tough tackles, blitzing off the edge, K1 is savage, man. K1's still a good cornerback, but he does lack a little bit in coverage, and especially as he's getting older. I don't think he's ever was a ultra strong coverage player, but he made up for it with his fantastic play within the box and physicality within the box. You get a guy like DJ Reed who can play outside and inside, who can follow a guy like Cooper Cup from the outside to the inside. I think that's extremely valuable. And we also know DJ Reed does provide special teams help if we wanted to. DJ Reed was one of our primary returners back in the day. Know if they're going to want to take a guy that they would potentially pay to be a cornerback one to be a returner as well, but it is an option. Um, I would love to have DJ Reed back, man. I think again, he's already a fit. He's already a fit. They know what he is. He would just fit. He would just fit well. I would really like that. Let's see. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. Um let's see. What's good, JC? JC dropping bars, bro. Bro, oh, JC. If you guys don't follow JC, follow JC. Dude, keep doing those duets. I saw you post that one and you said you didn't like it or like normally do it. Keep doing that, bro. Especially when you come across a fire ass beat. Yes. Don't stop. Keep going. Um Paul says Deshaun Hamilton from the Broncos. Again, the 49ers almost traded for him before he tore his ACL. So they were in the process of trading for Deshaun Hamilton, and he tore him. Almost on the team. Um, but didn't happen. Justin says, "Am I crazy for liking free agent Derek Gore out of KC?" I don't think you're crazy. Um, I I honestly haven't watched enough of Gore to be have an opinion really one way or the other. I've seen that he's capable. I just haven't seen anything to be like that sticks out to me. But I also will admittedly haven't spent a ton of time watching Derek Gore with the Chiefs. So you could be onto something. You could be onto something. Ooh. JC says, I have a feeling the Bucks might jump in for Carr. So now that is a great fit, in my opinion, for Derek Carr. Derek Carr has the arm strength to get that ball downfield. And you tie him together with Bruce Arians. I could see that. I could see that being a fit. I think that's a good call, man. I think that's a good call. But just like Sir Juju says, like say Carr goes to the Colts. Raiders might come for Jimmy. I've been trying to speak that into existence for a while just because you got the GM from the Patriots, you got McDaniels from the Patriots. It's a natural fit for Jimmy. It and you know, again, the whole situation with Derek is they're talking about paying him a lot of money. And does McDaniels want to tie himself and like basically strap himself to Derek Carr? I don't know. I don't know. But if you can move Derek and get a lot in return and flip him for a guy who's probably not as good, but has that locker room presence and then can help set a culture, who knows? Who knows? Apparently, my Wi Fi is so hot because I got the kids playing Fortnite. I apologize for the Wi-Fi. I do. I do. I really do. Like I said, I'm blaming it on the kids. Kids are playing. I had to let him go. Because daddy needed some time. But yeah, Wi-Fi a little bit. Let's see what else we got. Um, Mark says, "Do you think we have a chance of getting rid of Jimmy within the end of the week, or what do you think happens with Jimmy?" Um, I think that's I'm just waiting. I think that literally at any moment, we could get a notification. Jimmy Garoppolo's been traded to X team, because you know, as we know, man, like if you don't have a core free agency, it's hard to attract, like, let's say the Colts, for example. They need another wide receiver. What wide receiver is going to come play with them without a quarterback? You kind of need that guy solidified in place, especially when the new league year is about to kick off. You want to have that guy, and you want to be able to attract, be like, look, we're heading in the right direction. We're building. We have our quarterback. Come play with him. Obviously, we'll give you the compensation that you need, but will be interesting. Will be interesting to see what happens. Jason says our free agent signings will be huge this year. Big time. Yeah, we're going to need a lot of depth. We're going to need a lot of depth at key positions because we understand depth is going to play on this team. People get hurt. and they're gonna need the depth. Carolina's still interested in Jimmy. They seem to be all in on Deshaun, and they've been all in on Deshaun for quite some time. I think the Panthers make that swing, to be honest. I don't know if they want a Jimmy, because it sounds like they have so many issues. They kind of need that spark plug at the quarterback position who could kind of come in and put a lot of band-aids on a lot of issues. Um, so I actually think Carolina, like if they could get Jimmy, they'd probably think about it, but I really think they're gonna try to be that one. Again, Deshaun said he didn't want to play for Carolina. Deshaun straight up said, I don't want to. But Deshaun doesn't have any as too many options at this point. So I see a world that exists where everyone gets their quarterback spot filled. We'll find out on Friday. I think there's some big information to come out on Friday regarding Deshaun about what he's capable to do. Um, but I feel like Deshaun might have to play for the Panthers if there's not really any other opportunities. And I think the Panthers want that. And they want a guy who can come in and just run the show. I think Jimmy needs kind of everything around him to be a little bit more perfect. Um, and again, they have CMC. Who knows? Maybe he's getting traded. We'll find out. We will find out. Uh, yeah, this is how I threaten them. I threaten them with V Bucks. You're right. Hey, I will say this though, for any of my parents out there, you know, who do have kids that play Fortnite, it is a great motivator for other things to get stuff done. Hey, you guys want to play Fortnite? That's fine, but that room better look nice. That room better be looking nice. That homework better be done. Chores better be completed. No Fortnite. It's a great motivator for them. They're like, shh. Like, hey, whatever floats your boat, man. Whatever floats your boat. Moore or McKivitz for backup left tackle. Well, if you had asked me right now, if you had to ask me right now, it feels like McKivitz. Um, Jalen Moore, to me, proven he's at pass protection. He's not good at switching on stunts, at least when he's on the right side. I still think he's raw. I still think he needs a lot of work. I felt like he was capable against the Colts when he played at left tackle for Trent Williams. Um, but I still think he's raw. I still think the run game needs a lot of work. I think he's got baseline pass protection skill set, but that needs a little bit more work, little more polish, I would say. Now, Colton McKivitz, to me, when I watched him week 18, it's not like he's out there executing beautiful pass blocking technique. He still kind of looks like a guard out there playing tackle, and he's trying to make it work. And he did make it work. And if he spends, maybe this year attacking both tackle technique and guard technique, he's going to set himself up to potentially be like the new Tom Compton and or work himself into a role where he sees valuable playing time. So right now, McKivitz above Moore at the moment, but we'll see. Training camp's going to be a great measuring stick for both of those players in regards to kind of who's gonna take the next step forward. Um, that's what I'm excited about. Uh, let's see. Oh, right here. Brad, you've heard any good things about Aaron Banks? We have. Um, when Jordan and I were at the combine, we had MJD pull up and just start asking us questions, talking to us, just chatting it up. And one of the things that he talked about was Aaron Banks, and he had mentioned to not sleep on Aaron Banks. He liked Aaron Banks a lot. Jordan also talked to Brandon Thorne, who is one of the the O line expert out there on social media, and he had him as a third round grade. Aaron Banks, don't sleep on Aaron, man. He was really good in college. Bit of a transition period into the NFL. Let's see what he looks like, man. Let's see what he looks like. Oh, let's go. Everyone drop a W in the chat for Eric C7K. The homie just got into San Francisco State. Oh, sourdough squad making moves, going to college. San Francisco State. Let's go, local boy. Love it. Love it. Yes, sir. Drop those W's in the chat. Let's go. Shout out the squad. Let's go. Big dubs all the way around. Dubs. Let's go. You love to see it. Love to see the homies get a W. Sourdough Squad stays collecting W's. Let's go. Look at all the dubs. Let's go. Congrats, man. Congrats, man. Appreciate you vibing with us. And it's good to see you get some success. Love to see that, man. Love to see that. Let's go. Very, very excited about that. Let's see. Do you guys still think that if the 49ers re-sign Jason Verrett, if the 49ers re-sign Jason Verrett, do you think they would still go after a guy like DJ Reed, JC Jackson, maybe a Gilmore, maybe more of a mid-tier guy? I don't know if Carlton Davis he might be getting a lot of money. Who do you think? Do you think that happens if they sign Jason Verrett? Do they still go mid-tier? I think they do. I think you do. Terrell Brown says Clear Lake, California now, but from Mobile, Alabama. Let's go. See you. Hey, I've been to Mobile. Alabama. Mobile's kind of cool, man. That's a cool spot. I like that place. It was cool going over there. Dylan says yes, but I don't know about a guy like JC. JC just feels real expensive. It just feels real pricey. Braun says I was mad that we lost DJ Reed. I'm trying to like speak it into existence at this point. But I think that would be such a fun story. I think that would be a fun story to get that guy back, because not only is he a good player, but he was born and bred in the Bay. Now, he's from K-State. He's not. I don't think he's from the Bay. To be honest, I don't know where DJ Reed is actually originally from. But this is where you got to start. And we made a mistake. I'm speaking for the 49ers at this point. Oh, dude, he's from Bakersfield. What are we doing? What are we doing? DJ Reed's from Bakersfield, California, man. What are we doing? Get DJ Reed. What are we doing? He's 25 years old. He's from Bakersfield, California. He was drafted by the 49ers. What are we doing? I see. I see. I don't know about a guy like JC. That's funny. Yes, sir. Bring that man home. Bring him home. Again, it feels like it makes sense. Feels like it makes too much sense. I hope 49ers pull up and just say, "We're sorry, man. We're sorry." And the way we're gonna say sorry is we're gonna give you a nice bag. We're gonna give you a nice check. Come back. Come back. We apologize. I will not. I will not. But Marcus Jones could be a guy too for the 49ers coming out of Houston. They could opt to go into the draft. But again, it's so hit or miss with these prospects, man, especially at the cornerback position. Get me someone that can do it before. Why didn't Dubs do anything at the combine? I don't know. It's a good question. A lot of guys opt to wait till the pro day. Maybe he felt like he had a better opportunity at the pro day. Ooh, this just in. Patriots may trade N'Keal Harry. I still got a soft spot for N'Keal Harry. He's one of my drushes. Clearly hasn't panned out. But I still like that guy a lot. I don't know. I don't know if he's got anything left. I don't know. But I really thought N'Keal Harry was going to be DK Metcalf before DK became DK. If that makes sense. N'Keal did not pan out. But as a prospect, woo, he was nice. He was nice. Coming out of ASU, man. Former teammate with Brandon Ayuk, and N'Keal Harry looked like he was going to be that guy. He looked like he was. Bay Area Baller said, would N'Keal be an upgrade over Jawan Jennings at big slot? See, I don't know because I think Jawan Jennings, I don't think he would. Again, I think N'Keal Harry has like elite traits, but those traits have not come to fruition. The traits that we saw coming out of ASU from N'Keal, they just have. Where are they? I don't know. They've disappeared. But Jawan, his mentality, I think alone sets a different standard versus N'Keal. And I think that's where those two guys differentiate. I think N'Keal's mentality took a hit. I don't know if he fit the Patriot way. I don't think that it was, being a first round pick, maybe the pressure got to him. I don't know. So I think N'Keal's dealing with this aspect of it, confidence and those types of things. But Jawan is a dog. And the way we use him, now again, N'Keal might have better traits, but Jawan, I think, is perfect for what we try to do, that being the 49ers and the dog aspect of it as well. But I still wouldn't mind N'Keal coming around. Like 49ers getting N'Keal Harry for like a 6th round pick. If they're throwing away N'Keal Harry, I will catch him for you and see if there's anything to get out of him. And if you can't, okay, you just move on. But this is a good question. Jocelyn says, what made you become a 49ers fan? Well, honestly, technically, my parents started me out. Like my parents were 49ers fans. I think they helped kind of, push me in that direction. I think I was Joe Montana when I was like 6, something like that. So I've been a 49er fan for a long time, but this is one of my favorite stories to tell people because, a lot of people get started like that. A lot of people get started because their family members, the family is a big reason for, passing down fandom and stuff like that. And, but my parents in 2000 became Raider fans when John Gruden, you had, Gannon, Rice was over there at that point. You had Garner over there at that point. The Raiders were the hot team. The 49ers were ass, man. 49ers were dumpster fire. And around 2000, the Raiders looked really good. And they just, they, I guess my dad, I would say, he flopped over, started buying Raiders gear. They started buying me Raiders gear. They started buying me Raiders gear. They started to get me signed Raiders autograph stuff. Nope. Nope. Not me. I don't know what it was. And again, I'm not going to pretend and sit here and say like I was a diehard 49er fan as a kid. But when they switched, I said no. Again, they got me like Charles Woodson autograph, John Gruden autograph. They got me calendars. They got me all kinds of Raider stuff. I'm just like, what are you guys doing? Like, I'm not ever gonna rep the Raiders. Like, and I'm not even gonna pretend like I was just a diehard. Like, I was a 49er fan. If you ask me, "Oh, are you a fan?" I'm a 49er fan. I was a lot more interested in actually playing football at that point than watching football. So it wasn't like this crazy, like, oh, I'm a diehard Niner fan. No, it's like I'm not rooting for the Raiders. Like, are you crazy? It's like, are you crazy? I was like, not gonna do it. So, yeah, I got started down the road because my parents, but they switched up, and I said no, and they tried to convert me, and I said no, nope. I still got some of the old like Raiders stuff around here just for fun. It's somewhere. I got it hanging around here just for fun. But yeah, I was like, no, you can switch. You can be a Raider fan. Not me. I'm not going to. And honestly, I think it was at that time, I think it was more just I didn't like the Raiders. I did not like the Raiders. And I was like, yeah, maybe they caught me with a different team. Maybe they could have persuaded me. I don't know. But just I've never vibed with the Raiders, and that's how I know deep down I've always been a Niner fan because my disdain for the Raiders was always there, and they tried to switch me, man. No. Nope. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Uh so hey. Anyways, that's my story. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. You can't switch me. You can't entice me. Can't do it. Can't do it. I want winners. I want winners in red and gold. Um, good to have you, Jesus. That's weird that you're not getting notifications, man. Sorry to hear that. Um, we got Mom is a 49er fan, Pops is a Washington not football team Commanders fan now. Jeez. Hey, if you're a fan of that Washington team, props to you for sticking it through because that's like Raiders style. It's worse than Raiders, I would say, to be a fan of the Washington. I would not. I think if you're a fan of the Washington Redskins, you have the worst luck in the NFL because that's Dan Snyder, and you're not escaping the owner until they force him to sell. So, not great. Not great. Um, LaMarcus Joyner signing with the Jets to a 1-year deal. So there's a cornerback off the market. LaMarcus Joyner signs a 1-year deal to return to the Jets. So there's some moves. Nothing crazy, but I know the move that we're waiting for. We're waiting for that Jimmy Garoppolo trade. Did I ever have a Raiders nickname? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Never once. Never once. But anyways, I like this. Call your shot. Tomorrow's the day. I hope so. I hope tomorrow's the day that we get the Jimmy Garoppolo trade announced. And let's say it is. Let's say it is. We're going to wrap this up and we're going to get out of here for tonight. But let's say Baller is 100% on point and it is going to be tomorrow. Where's he going? Where's Garoppolo getting traded to? And we might the next time we talk, this might be our last time to speculate. I hope it is. I hope it is. Um I hope it is. But just because it may be, this is your last opportunity to get it in. Where's he getting traded? Because the hope is we come back tomorrow and we're talking about trade. But where do you think he's going to get traded? I like that too from Baller. You get him traded tomorrow for the weekend. I like that. Misty says Saints. Saints need a quarterback. They need one bad. Baller says Colts. Uh Dylan says I'll see y'all when Jimmy's a Raider. Steelers. Again, we don't talk a lot about the Steelers. Colts have been getting a lot of hype lately. Colts have been getting a lot of hype. So what's going to be interesting is who's going to be that sneaker team that's going to try to come in out the cuts and potentially like undercut someone like the Colts. Colts are giving a third. Okay, Steelers, give us your second. Steelers, give us your second, and we'll get something done. It definitely feels like we're in that stage. Definitely feels like we're in that stage where there's a deal that is on the table that could be accepted. But now we're kind of in that back and forth period of, well, we got a deal that we like. Are you going to up it? You're going to match. What are you going to do? It feels like we're kind of in that period. Like it feels like in principle there are deals submitted and there's likely deals that are close to being signed, but it does feel like, hey, last opportunity to bid. This is your last opportunity to win this, to win Jimmy Garoppolo. It does kind of feel like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We're all going to be shocked. Jimmy to the Bucks for Brady. Hey, Mike Florio is still today. Mike Florio today said he still believes Tom Brady will be the week 1 starter for the San Francisco 49ers. He said that today. I actually posted it on the YouTube channel just for all of us to look at it. He said it again. He is not letting it go. Now I could agree with one aspect of what he is saying. I do think there is a world that exists where Tom Brady is retiring from the Bucks. Like he's just done playing with the Bucks. He wants to turn the page and potentially go somewhere again where he can win a championship. 49ers seem like a good spot for that. I can understand the notion that Brady isn't done playing yet, because when you look at the way he retired, it didn't feel like especially how it's progressed. Like it, of course, made waves right away, but it has been silent since then. And all we've actually ever heard since he's retired is he's probably going to play, and everything is kind of just feels like that could be the case. But and I can get behind that. I can get behind Tom Brady. He's he's just done with the Bucks. He wants to play, but he wants to play for somewhere else. Does he want to play for the 49ers? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. But what does that take? What does that look like to get Tom Brady to be the week 1 starter for the 49ers when you got Trey Lance and you just moved Jimmy Garoppolo, you cleared this cap space, and now you're going to have to take up what little cap space you gain and then dump it back into Tom Brady. God, someone help me. Someone help me. Jimmy going to be a Dolphin? Send him to Mike McDaniels or Mike McDaniel. Thank you for this help, Ramley. Thank you for the breaking news. Hey, we like Sudfeld around here, all right? But again, Mike Florio is still going. He is still hammering home the Tom Brady thing. Do I think we get Tom Brady? No, I don't, because it just feels like a massive mismanagement of assets. If you're going to go trade up and get Trey Lance, you have all this money built into core players, and you have a perfect opportunity for a cost controlled rookie quarterback to kind of step in and see what he's about. Let him develop. Uh, I just, I just feel like it would be yet another sign. Like I get it, I get the thought process of wanting Brady because I know what that means to a lot of people. Championship. But again, if he doesn't win a championship, just think about the opposite side. If he doesn't win a championship, and again, we just experienced the NFC championship with Jimmy, like it was cool, but at the end of the day, we still want the ring. So you if Tom Brady comes in and happens to be the year that he shows his old age, and you again, just the opposite side of it scares the hell out of me alone. Just the thought that Brady comes in and falls apart at 45 years old, and you waste yet another year of Trey Lance and you damage his mentals yet again. That just feels like just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right for Trey. At a certain point, when are we gonna believe in the kid, man? Like God. When are you gonna believe in the kid, man? Just let us get hyped about the kid, please. Like let us build an environment, at least from the fan base, where we can hype up our freaking number 3 overall pick. We haven't been able to do that. Do you know how frustrating that is? For me personally, as someone who likes to do content and likes to get the fan base hyped up and excited and like get us juiced up about stuff, like I can't do that about Trey Lance. Like it has to be done strategically and with timing based on this crazy world that we live in surrounding the San Francisco 49ers. I can't hype the number 3 overall pick. Like that's wild. Or I can, but then you know what's going to happen if I do? We're going to get the opposite of this. He's not ready. Like, what the hell, man? Let me hype Trey for 5 minutes. That's all I want. Sean, Let me hype Trey for 5 whole minutes. That's all I want. I want all of us for 5 minutes to just let me hype up Trey. Just please let me build up some nice steady stream of hypage for Trey, and we get this thing rolling in the right direction, man. It has been quite the ride. It has been quite the ride. 100%. 100%. So that's my vibe, though. I'm big on development. Big on development. So you got the kid, develop the kid, build up around the kid. Please, please, please do it. But I'm gonna end it on that. Just, just build around him. Just, 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 just do it. Give him the weapons. Give him the structure, and allow him. My little one wants to come out here. Yeah, he's like, hey. All right, perfect timing. Perfect timing. Zay Too Smooth says SF9, love you, bro. Keep up the good work. I love you, man. My kids are going crazy. It's time to go. It's time to wrap it up. But I appreciate all you guys, man, vibing with me as always. Dad Brad, I gotta go run. I gotta get on the fam. Clearly, the little one's up from his nap, so it's time to go. Time to put the dad hat on. You know the vibes, but as you guys always know, I appreciate you all. Appreciate you always rocking with me. Time to go be dad now. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Peace.